We live in an age of science and technology. And in this age of science, we try to find a reason behind every phenomenon. Science is just now discovering the benefits of meditation. But there are certain things that cannot yet be explained by science. What is meditation? How is it done? And how is it connected to spirituality? In this video, we will explore and explain meditation for the beginning practitioner. There are many different types of meditation. There is mindfulness meditation, transcendental meditation, guided meditation, yoga meditation, mantra meditation, Zen meditation, Qui-Gon meditation, walking meditation, and many, many others. YouTube is filled with guided meditation videos, 5-minute meditation videos, 10-minute meditation videos, and relaxing music meditation videos, just to name a few. These types of meditations can be helpful for some because they provide a calming and relaxing state of mind. However, real meditation that has been taught for thousands of years has nothing in common with guided meditation or relaxing music meditations. The meditation we will cover in this video is about contacting your true inner self. The goal of true meditation is not to have any thoughts at all. It's about switching off the thought process. It's about being completely alone with yourself. And this being alone with yourself can be difficult because in this state, we are forced to see ourselves as we really are and not who we think we are or who we pretend to be. In today's world, there are many misunderstandings and false teachings about meditation. Meditation does not mean to pray. Praying involves talking quietly or silently and using your thoughts and feelings to ask for something from a deity. In actuality, meditation is the exact opposite of praying. Meditation is about not having any thoughts at all. Thinking is not a spiritual process. Our material consciousness, which includes the ego, personality, and character, are required for thinking. Every single thought created by a human being is a product of the material consciousness. And our material consciousness is a function of the brain. Our spiritual consciousness, or correctly called our creation energy consciousness, also resides in the brain, but does not have anything to do with the thinking process other than providing subtle impulses. And these impulses from the spirit are so subtle that they are very hard to perceive. What is not hard to perceive is our thoughts. Just a short self-observation of ourselves is enough to see how extremely busy our thoughts are, jumping from one subject to another. Most normal people in today's world know how busy life is and how their inner world of thoughts is unyielding. And this is exactly what meditation is trying to calm, our world of thoughts. Our personality and ego, which are part of the material consciousness, develop and maintain a know-it-all attitude, profound egoism, selfishness, and imperiousness. Our personality and ego, also known as our I, or what we think of as ourselves, lives in an illusion of absolute independence and of being separate from our spiritual consciousness. Because of this, our material consciousness no longer has the capability of recognizing the existence of our spiritual consciousness. Our material consciousness has become so materialistic that it only accepts things that can be physically touched, seen, or heard with the material senses. This means that the material consciousness is only satisfied and stimulated in a materialistic form, whereby no higher abilities are available to sense or perceive the finer and more subtle impulses from the spiritual consciousness. Let's talk about two important factors in meditation: our will and our concentration. Many people believe and are convinced that their will is the most important aspect for determining their actions and how they live their lives. In many cases, we tend to put our will above everything else in life, meaning our will is the principal determining factor for our thoughts and actions. And there's no question about how many good characteristics that can be attributed to the will. However, this does not mean we should only live our lives according to our will. This is because our will can be very domineering, and our inner nature, which is very subtle and mostly unknown to us, remains hidden and suppressed. Once we have formed a will for something in particular, then this will is the main contributor for the formation of our view or outlook on the particular subject. However, this view or outlook isn't knowledge. It's only a personal opinion that is formed based on the will. And this opinion, formed from the will, can be true or untrue, depending on the point of view of the person. In other words, a will that is formed always accepts our own point of view or outlook, which means the will is created from a belief or a personal opinion. So, there are two factors here. One, we hold our will in such high regard that it's the most important and determining factor for how we think and act. And two, our will is formed based on our view and personal opinion. Because of these two factors, our will exerts control over the material consciousness and creates an environment where we only see what we want to see and only recognize and accept things based on our preconceived views and personal opinions. The other important factor for meditation is concentration. Thinking alone is not concentration, and the strength of the will and the ability to concentrate don't have anything in common. For example, if you're unable to fall asleep at night and you create a will to fall asleep, for example, I'm so tired, I'm definitely going to go to sleep tonight. Just by creating this will to fall asleep, you've mobilized your thoughts in a way that works against falling asleep. And the more will you apply, the less relaxed you will become. This is an example of a preconceived will that was formed based on an opinion or assumption, not based on knowledge, which leads to wrong results. You're unable to fall asleep due to tensions and thought activity from the will. So, if you want to fall asleep, you have to switch off any will and relax completely. This also means that you must switch off your thoughts, or at least direct them in a way that has a calming and relaxing effect on you. Just like this example of falling asleep, a proper concentration has one prerequisite: passivity. This means that we must switch off any preconceived will and all thoughts, and through this, a certain neutrality is reached. In Billy's book, Introduction to Meditation, there are several sections that cover the teaching of concentration. In order to keep this video short and simple, we won't go through all of those methods listed in the book. For this video, we will be using our breath as a point of concentration. When we breathe in through our nose, there's a cooling sensation around the nostrils. And when we breathe out, there's also a sensation of the air moving out of the nostrils. It's not cool like the inhale, but you can still sense the air moving out during the exhale. This breathing in and breathing out, the sensation of air moving in and out of the nostrils, will be the point of concentration. Billy calls this breathing attentiveness. In other words, it's where we will direct our attention to the sensation of air moving in and out of the nostrils during meditation. It's important during the breathing attentiveness exercise that the breath is not artificially regulated, conditioned, minimized, or deepened, or any other means of control. It's important just to leave the breath to its natural course. We direct our attention to the flow of the breath in its natural course without changing the breathing rhythm in any way. It's really amazing how the breathing attentiveness creates harmony and calmness within us. And not only is the consciousness calmed, regular practice of breathing attentiveness also has significant health benefits for our physical bodies. Our breath is connected with our life. Our life is dependent on breathing. If we stop breathing, we die. Our breath is so closely connected to life and death, but we don't notice or realize this. Breathing attentiveness provides a realistic perceiving and understanding of our body. Breathing is an analog for the becoming and passing away, our life and death. Through breathing attentiveness, the fleetingness of the breath is understood, and the body, as a transitory vessel, is understood. The breathing attentiveness can not only be used during meditation, but can also be used anytime in life. If we have something important to say or explain, or if we have important decisions to make, or maybe we become mad or upset at something in life, we could turn to breathing attentiveness, even for just a short time, which will generate feelings of comfort and security. It's a way of retreating into ourselves in a way that is unnoticeable to others. So, for the breathing attentiveness exercise, our attention is directed to the cooling sensation around the nostrils where the breath touches and flows in and out. The breath shouldn't be followed on its way through the body because the attentiveness would be distracted. During meditation and breathing attentiveness, the only thing we are doing is placing our attention on the breath flowing in and out of the nostrils, nothing else. Now, naturally, distracting thoughts will appear, such as, now I am meditating, or I must concentrate on my breath, or what will I do tomorrow, or maybe when will this end? All of these thoughts during meditation are completely normal, but through regular practice, they can slowly be reduced and then finally eliminated. In a minute, we will sit down and go over meditation posture, but let's review what we've covered so far. The will. It's important not to create an overbearing will, like, I must meditate today, or by setting goals and expectations of meditation that won't be met. The will that needs to be created is simply, today I will sit for meditation. No forcefulness, no expectations, just simply, today I will meditate. Concentration. We will be using the breath attentiveness method. When we breathe in through our nose, there's a cooling sensation around the nostrils, and when we breathe out, there's also a sensation of air passing by the nostrils. This sensation of our breath moving in and out of the nostrils is the point where we will direct our attention. Thoughts during meditation. When thoughts arise like, what am I doing tomorrow? Or what will I cook for dinner tonight? Don't follow these thoughts. Just simply move your attention back to the breath. And there'll be times when you follow a thought on and on and on, and then suddenly realize that you're following a thought. That's okay. Just move your attention back to the breath. This is the training of meditation. This is the hard part. It's really important when you recognize your attention is not on the breath and that it's following some thought, that you don't start a confrontation or fight within yourself, such as, dang, I can't believe I'm doing that, or stop following those thoughts, or something similar. This in itself is thinking, and our attention is not on the breath. It's now in a confrontation with our material consciousness and activates everything in the world of thoughts and redirects us away from the goal. So, don't punish yourself with your thoughts. It's the wrong direction. When you recognize your attention is not on the breath, just simply bring your attention back to the breath, nothing else. Before we sit down, I want to cover one other point that's very common, especially for the beginning meditator. Euphoric meditation and suggestive meditation. Euphoric meditation is a technique where the meditator raises himself into a state of euphoric well-being. They imagine that this feeling of well-being leads to a connection with a higher level or a higher self. However, this feeling of well-being is based solely and exclusively on imaginations and dissipate as quickly as they arose. Suggestive meditation is where the meditator creates pictures or visions. This is nothing more than thoughts and images from the material consciousness, which is produced by our own thinking. However, the meditator doesn't recognize it as such and believes they are receiving messages from someone or somewhere. This is called suggestive meditation and is created by self-suggestion and is a product of wishes or dreams from the material consciousness. However, the meditator isn't aware they've created these constructs within themselves, and by continuing down this path, they become subservient and fall into delusion. This type of self-suggestion with pictures and visions is practiced by channelers and mediums, although if you attempt to point this out, they would deny it. Okay, let's go sit down and we'll talk about meditation posture. Okay, we're back and we're ready to meditate. And let's talk a little bit about the sitting position and how that should be done. So the best way to meditate is to sit. So if you can, if your body will allow it, sitting for meditation is the best, either on a cushion or on a chair. Also, if you can't sit, laying down is absolutely fine. If you want to lay on your bed and meditate, that also works good, as long as the back is straight. For me, I don't generally meditate laying down. I get too cozy and frankly drift off to sleep sometimes. So usually sitting for me works the best. So if you can sit, that is the best position for meditation. For cushions, they sell these on the internet. You've probably seen them, or maybe you have one. This is a meditation cushion. They're very firm. They're filled with some material that doesn't give too much. If you sit on a pillow from your bed or pillow from the couch, those can go very flat. They can get squished up quite a bit, and it changes your position. Basically, your butt drops below your knees and it gets out of bad alignment. So if you can, or sometimes if you have some thicker cushions that don't give as much, that don't squish down as much, those will work as well. But I don't know how much these are, maybe $30 or $40. They're not terribly expensive, but meditation cushion is the best. This type of meditation cushion I sat on during my 20s and 30s when I was quite a bit younger. Recently, I've been sitting on this cushion. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it goes out a little bit further, supports my legs a little bit better, and that gave me a little bit of more support there. And then honestly, lately, the last few years, I've just been sitting in a chair. It's at my age, it's tougher to get up and down, and the body doesn't work as well. So any of the sitting positions really work well. Temperature. So make sure the room is not too cold, not too hot, somewhere in the middle, 72, 73, so you don't have to put a lot of clothes on, that you can, be fairly comfortable in the area. Clothing should be loose fitting. These are just some sweats and a loose fitting shirt, so it shouldn't be too tight around your body. And in wintertime, this video is being filmed in December, I like to wear a pair of socks. It keeps my toes a little bit warmer. If you like incense, incense is good. Some people can't deal with the incense, the smell, or the breathing or not. If you can't, that's okay too. If you can, it's a great tool. It's a great aid. Over the years, when I've started meditation and started burning incense, and then up till now, when I smell the incense, my body just automatically knows it's time for meditation. It's like it automatically knows it when it smells. So that's been a good benefit from burning incense. Also, when you're concentrating your breath on your breathing through your nose, if you have incense, it's really easy to detect the breath, detect the air going in and out because of the smell. So that also helps a little bit too. So not mandatory, but if you can, it's a good aid, good meditation aid. Food and drink, you shouldn't be on a full stomach. So, if you've just eaten, maybe wait a couple hours till after you've eaten. Depending on whether you like to meditate in the morning or in the evening, but not too much. A light snack would be okay, and a glass of water just before you sit down is also a good thing to do. Time. Make sure that when you choose your meditation time, that you choose the same time every day. So if you're a morning person, I'm a morning person. I get up in the morning and usually meditate, maybe half an hour after I get up.
before breakfast. If you're an evening person, set your time in the evening, 7 p.m., 8 p.m., whatever it is. Set it for the same time so you build a routine and your body gets used to the meditation at that particular time. Whatever works best for you. If you need a timer, you can get those timers at various places around the country. Either the kitchen timers, the twist ones, or the digital ones. There are apps for your phone, meditation, but I wouldn't recommend those because you have to have your phone on then and for the ringer to go off for the meditation timer. But then texts come in and emails and it just becomes a big mess. So I wouldn't recommend using your phone, although there are a lot of apps and people swear by them. But if that works for you, go ahead. But sometimes the interruption factor isn't the best. So, okay, that's the basics. So you'll sit down, your meditation, cross-legged. If you can do a full lotus, that's great. I can't, so just regular cross-legged is fine. Your arms and your hands will be out here, not too far out, so they're not pulling on your shoulders here, and of course not too far in, just whatever's comfortable for you. Everybody has a different body size, so just whatever's comfortable for you. Hands can either go down, they can go up. If you prefer the traditional with the fingers linked for the energy flow, whatever works for you. Any position with the hands and the arms, just as long as they're not too far forward and they're comfortable resting, so they're not pulling on your shoulders. Sit like this, and then take a deep breath. Close your eyes and bring your attention to the breath going in and out of your nose, and that's pretty much it. You'll notice that thoughts will start to come up, and when you do notice that, just bring your attention back to the breath. Don't start a fight. Don't tell yourself, hey, you're not doing it right. When your thoughts start to come, and they will, just bring your attention back to the breath going in and out of the nose. And that's pretty much it. That's fairly straightforward, simple, how to sit for meditation. Some encouragement. The most important thing is to just do it. Make some time, spend 10, 15 minutes in the beginning if you can. If you can, work it up to 30 minutes over time. But the most important thing is to just start, because so many things will come up in your life that will prevent you. These thoughts will come in. Oh, I'd rather be doing this, or I'd rather be doing this. Everything in the world will come up. Trust me, I know. It takes discipline. So the best thing you can do, some encouragement to get started, is to just start. Set aside the same time each day. So whatever that is, if it's in the morning, the afternoon, or evening, same time, 10 minutes. It's a very small amount of time in the beginning to start. Time for yourself. Start with 10, grow to 15, 20, and just expand from there. But just start and just pick a time during the day that you can dedicate to the same time every day. Make it part of your daily schedule. You know how you wash your face, or you take a shower, or feed the animals? Make the same thing. Make time for meditation for yourself to do that. The biggest challenge that you're going to come across in meditation is with your thoughts. So when you're sitting and your attention's on your breath, naturally thoughts will come up, and you'll just have to bring your attention back to your breath. And that's the whole exercise. That's the whole basic. That is meditation. The teaching of meditation is to learn to keep your concentration, your attention on the breath, and let the thoughts come in and let them go out, and give them no attention. Just let them come in and let them go out. And if you do, and you will, find yourself following the thoughts, just bring your attention back. And that's pretty much it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this short video on beginning meditation, and we'll see you in the next video.